From Studio 1A in Tampa, Florida, comes a talk show that really feels your pain and tells you like it is. We love America and all that freedom-loving Americans want to protect. Live from coast to coast and on your radio, it's For the People with Keith Allen.
We'll help you survive this thing called life. We're for the people. Whatever your source of stress or strife, for the people is there.
Well, hello, Mr. and Mrs. America. I am Keith Allen, and proudly welcoming you to this Wednesday's edition of For the People for this September the 13th, 2017. And somewhat back to normal. And back to normal meaning that I'm back on my bike this morning because, I moved back into my house after evacuating. So putting everything away, and my wife had to tape everything up in case the roof, we were thinking maybe the winds, 150, 170, 80 miles an hour. The roof could have came off. Things could have got broken. So she taped all the cabinets, in every single room. Very smart. Televisions covered and stowed away. I'm still trying to find stuff. But everything was protected. And luckily, we did not have the flooding. But we do have a lot of storm damage to a lot of houses. A lot more than people would think in the Tampa Bay area. A lot of homeowners without electricity. Here in the Bay Area, there's millions, as a matter of fact, in the Bay Area. Millions have been restored, still millions sitting in the dark. My brother-in-law, funny story, and I got to shout him out here a little bit. I'm sure he'll appreciate this. But he's been camping out in our living room, kind of watching movies and stuff like that. He likes the big screen TV. We were able to get one of these huge, ridiculous, we're talking overkill here, 80-inch. But it's beautiful. We got it on sale. And but anyways, it's entertainment heaven. But it was funny. He wanted to sleep there with us, in the same house. And he said, I can't. We're like, oh, do we smell? Is there something wrong? And he goes, no. He says, I can't be away from my pets, my dogs. It's just not home. So AC and all the amenities and trying to roll out the red carpet, and nope. Headed back to the house with the dogs. No AC, no electric, stifling humidity and all that. But, it's all good. I'm not hurt. No, not at all. I thought it was interesting. I love my Chihuahua and the Shih Tzu that was my stepdaughter's. We ended up adopting that because she's an interesting story. And the reason I love her, and the reason I make fun of her, she's a Shih Tzu, and usually they're good dogs and everything like that, but she was raised, for a good year and a half, 2 years with a pit bull. So, and wrestling and, pulling, this thing, it needs to go. It's just an interesting dog. It thinks it's a pit bull. And it pulls you. It needs to go to obedience school. No matter how much you yank, how much you say it. I'm the alpha dog here. But for whatever reason, it just likes to yank itself. I'm like, your neck's going to fall off. And just hyper as can be. Hyper as can be. It just comes from how they raised it, apparently. But anyway, through Davis Island today, on my way, through Bayshore Boulevard, which they showed that on the national news. You may see this beautiful piece of real estate in Tampa where I do my 16.5 miles, and I saw a bunch of stuff, and just every lawn just about had, limbs and trees and stuff down and, ready for the trash removal truck to come and take it away. But there was definitely a lot of, and no wonder why there's so much power outage. We're just we're not ready for it over here by any means. And I guess nobody is, but folks that had generators, man, you guys are smart people. They were selling generators on the side of the road. Somebody told me here a couple days ago on Dale Mabry and a couple other streets here in the Tampa Bay area. And they were selling them for a lot more, obviously, than what you could get them at Home Depot or Lowe's. But now's the time to get yourself one if you find one on sale, which would be great, and stow it away for a rainy day. I'm sure it won't be the last time we'll be hit by a hurricane. 6.1 million customers still without power. This is the latest report that I'm getting this morning. 6.1. It's a lot of folks barbecuing and sitting in the dark. A lot of people just don't have generators. They're staying with friends if they can, but a lot of people don't have anywhere to go, or they're just out of state. I'd love to have stayed with my mother, but she's up in northern New Jersey. And I always envy the temperature there. I was born up north, northern New Jersey, lived in New York City. But, it was about 72 degrees this morning. It's been a little bit cooler in the mornings, which is great. Usually it's stifling 80-something with humidity like 100%, but it's like 60 degrees there, 50 at night. I mean, perfect temperatures. This is like the middle of the summer. Have you seen some of the pictures out of the Keys? According to FEMA, kind of going through their website and sifting through information, something you're supposed to do, by the way, as a talk show host. To sound interesting, at least. But 25% of the homes in the Keys are just unrepairable, destroyed, gone. The boats, I love boats, I tell you. I saw one lady's boat, or couple's boat, Frisky Lady, and it was just waterlogged and submerged in water. And I was thinking to myself, whoever the boat owner was, they never probably thought in a million years they'd see their boat, the name of their boat, Frisky Lady, shown nationwide in that condition. It's got to be heartbreaking because, these boats are not cheap. And a lot of these folks are retired. They put in their time. A lot of baby boomers. I know some sweet couples that live in the lower Keys, and I don't know if they're okay. I'm wondering. I don't know. And I'm sure that there are family, feeling the same way with folks throughout the Keys that they haven't been able to get in contact with because communications is spotty. People with satellite phones are lucky, but other than that, they're trying to restore service as much as they can. But when you see the devastation, you just kind of wonder, for anybody that didn't evacuate, I mean, did they survive it? I mean, the destruction was very widespread in the Keys. There was a resort area stretching southwest for the tip of Florida. What was it? Oh, there it is. They're saying destruction was widespread in the Keys. A resort stretching southwest for the tip of Florida Peninsula to the Gulf of Mexico, connecting by a single narrow highways, how they're describing it, a series of bridges and causeways along a nearly 100-mile route. And I've taken that route. And it's long, and it's beautiful. But it doesn't really have that vibe if you go through there today. Basically, every house in the Keys was impacted in some way or another, according to a local reporter. But FEMA, they're just early estimates saying at least 25% of those homes unrepairable and destroyed, but damage to just about every home. The thing is, there was an evacuation notice put out there for people to evacuate ahead of Irma. But, just like every hurricane, there's people that just, they're old-timers. Been in the Keys, nothing's hurt us. We've weathered the storm. And then there's people that simply just can't afford to get away. They don't know anybody, or everybody's died. I know that sounds depressing, but, I know older folks that they've outlived everybody in their family. Oh, I got friends, but they ride it out and take their chances. I mean, me, luckily I have friends, and thank you to a lot of my friends around the country that offered me places to stay where if I just pay for the flight and get out of here, and I appreciate that. It's very kind. You'd had my whole family, so then you'd have to put up with all of us. But that was very nice. A friend, a benevolent father of mine in Illinois, was going to pick me up in Chicago. I mean, just, really, really nice people. It's nice to have people in your life that care about you. Friends are terrific, and family's wonderful. But we pray for these folks dealing with the aftermath of Irma. Jacksonville, I saw some pictures there this morning, and I couldn't believe that how much flooding, and this wasn't so much wind damage they had the problem with. They had the storm surge, and they had quite a bit of flooding. So they're dealing with that in Jacksonville, way up north. So that's the issues there. Venice, Florida. This is a place where the founder of the broadcast, Chuck Harder, moved for a short amount of time, and I remember it very well because I actually helped him move there, and this was several years ago. This is over a decade. He was going to do his radio show from Venice, Florida, because I guess his wife wanted to move to Venice, and they moved there. Beautiful house. The only problem is they couldn't get an ISDN line, which is like a digital subscriber line that he could feed his radio show to the radio network. Long story short, they didn't live there that long. Beautiful house, but they picked up and they went back to White Springs, Florida, where surprisingly they had all the infrastructure that they needed. The T1 lines were there. I mean, all the infrastructure, just because they run right there. That's like, for whatever reason, those super lines, those mega lines are ran right through White Springs all the way up to Jacksonville. And anyways, they gave him the pairs that he needed, and there you go. But I do remember Venice. And the reason I bring it up is there is a silver alert, 2 of them actually issued for an elderly Sarasota couple who decided they needed to get into their car ahead of Hurricane Irma. And I'm talking about Milan and Lucille Usick, who are husband and wife. Now, they were last seen Saturday around 7:30 at a gas station near Interstate 75 in Ocala. And that's this Sarasota County Sheriff's Office releasing this information. They were headed to Pennsylvania during the evacuations. Deputies said that they have not returned to their Venice home on Golf Club Lane. Neither have cell phones, and both suffer from what they're saying is varying degrees of dementia. They were traveling in vehicles described as a 2004 beige Mercury Grand Marquis with license plate. You may want to look at this if you're traveling. GES L71. GES L71. It's a beige Mercury Grand Marquis. License plates again, or license plate GES L71. And Milan is described as 5'8", tall, weighs 180 pounds. Lucille is described as 5'4", tall, and weighs 175 pounds. I always hate, to hear, when these people just wander away or wander around. I mean, they did the right thing to get out. But when you're suffering from dementia, especially both of them, I mean, God knows. And the problem with this case is they're vulnerable. Not to just getting lost. It's people that prey on senior citizens, and hopefully nothing sinister happened to these folks. Hopefully we'll have some good news and we'll have an update on this couple, but that just kind of made me sad this morning when I saw that and thought, hey, let's not just be sad about it. Let's see if we can find them. Let's be on the lookout. They may not even know they're missing. I mean, with dementia, you just, you don't know. But it's just been too long. Here it is, the 13th. Irma's gone. They're missing. So anyways, contact the Sarasota Sheriff if you know any information. We have an affiliate in Ocala, Florida that carries us on FM. And so if anybody has seen this Mercury, let me give it one more time. Should we do it? Mercury Grand Marquis license plate.